So let us discuss about lists in Python. List is one of the popular data structure in Python. It is basically a collection of certain items, and these items are separated by comma. For example, you can write, it's basically just like array. In any other programming language we have arrays, right? In the same way we have list in Python. So I'm declaring a list of numbers here. So all the items should be separated by comma, and the list itself has to be enclosed between square brackets. Okay. So let us declare a list of strings. List of strings equal to, let's write 3 items: cat, dog, and and cow. So let's print that. So this is how you declare a list of strings. Let us declare a list of numbers 1, 2 for something like this. Okay. So we can also have list of lists, so which means a list inside of another list. Okay, so I'll declare list of lists. Let me have the first element as 1, 2. So here we have another list inside of a outer list. So the second list I'll have some strings. Okay, so this is how you can have a list of list inside your, so you can basically have a list inside of your list. And also we can have mixed items inside your list. For example, you can have numbers, floating point numbers, strings, so you can, and also list inside your list. So let me declare a list of mixed items equal to, so first let us have some string, and then let us have some numbers like integers and floating point numbers, and we can also have a list, right? So inside this list let's have some string and integers. So in this way you can have list of mixed items, I mean different data types inside of a list. Let us declare a empty list. So to declare an empty list you just have to specify opening and closing square braces. So if we print it, it is just an empty list. So you can also declare an empty list by just writing list, sorry, is lowercase. So this will also create an empty list. So let us now create a list of numbers using something called list comprehension. It is basically just like writing a for loop inside a list to generate numbers. So let me demonstrate that. So I'll say list of num equal to, so here inside the list what I'm going to write is, I'll write I for I in range 0, 10. So this particular line is going to generate list of numbers from 0 to 10. Okay, you'll not get until 10, you'll get only from 0 to 9. So let me execute this and print the values. So you'll get 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 until 9. So here the range this particular thing, the range 0, 10 will generate the numbers from 0, 1, 2 up until 9. And this particular statement, I for I, which means that take each I from this range and put it inside the list. So you can understand it in this way. Okay, so basically we are taking the numbers from the range and inserting into our list. So there is an easier way to do this actually. You can write just list of num equal to, if you just say list of range of 10, even with this statement you will be able to get the same result. So if I execute this and check the result, you'll get the numbers from 0 to 9. So let us look at another example of using this list comprehension to generate a list of even numbers less than 10. So let me write something like lst even equal to, I'll write I for I in range. So you are selecting the start number, the end number is 10. So if you write something like this, there's also some another argument that you can pass inside the range function. By default it is always 1. So when you write something like this, it is going to generate all the numbers from 0 to 9. Okay, so by default it is always 1. So if you give 2 here, it's going to increment 2 times. I mean, if it picks 0, the next it's going to skip 1 and then it's going to pick 2. Okay, each time it's going to add 1 to it, right? So if it picks index 0, next time it's going to pick index 2, and then next time it's going to pick index 4, something like this. So if I execute this, you'll get even numbers less than 10. So any idea what change should I have to make to get, instead of even numbers, I want to get odd numbers? There's only one change that you are required to make. So instead of starting from 0, if you just start from 1, so it's going to start from 1 and then keep on adding 2, right? So it will be like 1, 3, 5, 7, and of course 9. So let's declare a list, declare a string. So we want to convert a list of a comma separated string into a list. Okay, so let's create a string here, str1 equal to, we want to convert a comma separated string into a list. So I'll have some strings, hi, hello, a, b, c, d, e, f. So you have something like this. I want to put each of these words inside a list. So we have a built-in function which is written on top of the string. So it's going to convert, like it's going to extract all of these words by splitting it based on comma, and it's going to insert into a list. So I'll say str list equal to so str1. So this function is called as split, which accepts one argument. So this is basically the delimiter based on which you want to split. So in this string we have the delimiter as comma, so we're going to pass this. So if we check the value of str list, it's going to be list of words. Okay. So what if you want, so I'll declare one more string, str equal to something like hello. So if you want each of these words as a separate item inside your list, then you can write something like lst equal to lst2 equal to list of, just call the list method and pass your string, and it's going to add all of your each of your character inside your word as a separate item inside the list. So if I execute this and check the value of list2, so you can see each of those characters have been added as a separate element inside our list. So next, what if I want to let me declare an integer int1 equal to 1 2 3 4 5 6, something like this. I want to put each of these numbers as a separate item inside the list. So do you think the same method is going to work here? So let us check if that thing works. So I'll say equal to list of int1, and if I print this one, so you see that this particular thing is not working because it has to be iterable. I mean, it works on strings, right? It doesn't work on integer. So is there a turnaround to do this? So let us see how we can do this. So temporarily we'll just convert this integer into string and then achieve our target. Okay, so what we're going to do is we'll convert this into string. Okay, and then we'll use a list comprehension here. I'll say I for I in str of int1. So let's see what happens with this. So we are successfully able to separate each of the numbers and put it as a separate item in the list. But if you observe, the whatever got inserted is in string format. We wanted numbers, right? So just before inserting, so any idea what we have to do, to convert this string to int? So we can basically make the change here. So just before inserting into the list, we are going to convert that string into integer and then insert into our list. So in this way we have separated each of the numbers and put it as a separate item in the list. So next we will convert dictionary key or value pair to list. So let me declare a dictionary. So we'll go in details about the dictionary topic maybe in the upcoming videos. For now, dictionary is just like, if you want to add data in the form of key value pairs, you can write something like dict equal to A is 1, so B will be 2 and C and its value as 3. So in this particular example, A, B, C are called as keys and 1, 2, 3 are called as their corresponding values. Okay, so if you want to extract all of the keys, so what are the keys here? We have A, B, C as the keys. I want to extract all of these keys and insert into a list. I want to create a list of keys. So for that, let me declare a list key list equal to, so you just have to write list of and pass your dictionary. Not just that, you have to write dictionary dot keys. So dict dot keys is going to fetch all the keys and provide, and this list is going to add all of those items inside your list. Okay, so similar way, if you want to add all your values inside your list, the only change that you have to make is value list equal to, so instead of mydict dot keys, you're going to write mydict dot values. Okay. So now we are going to look at popular built-in functions for lists in Python. Okay. So at first we're going to look at something called list.append method, which is used to append a single element at the end of the list. So let me declare a list here, lst1 equal to cat, dog, something like this. Okay. So I want to append a new item into this list. So you can make use of list.append method. So if you write something like lst1.append, so inside this you have to provide the value that you want to append. So let me say I want to insert a new animal called goat into our list. So I'll say list1.append goat, and let me print the value of list. So the value that we passed has been appended at the end of our list. Okay. So we can also append a number, right? So because list can have any type of value inside it. So let me append a number, and we are successful. And also we can append list, right? Instead of number I can append list. So let me say parrot and penguin. Okay. So if I execute this and check the value, there's something that you have to observe here is the entire list has been appended as a separate item. So if you are expecting that each of these items had been added or appended separately, it won't happen like that, because it's going to append this entire item as a like entire list as a separate item. It's not going to pick the items in the list and append. So if you're expecting something like that, you have another function that you can use, and which is called as list.extend method. So we're going to see that first here. So let me declare this again, and this time instead of using list.append, we're going to say list.extend. So what this is going to do is it's going to pick each of these elements inside the list and it's going to add as a separate element. So if I execute this, you can see that each of the items has been added as a separate element inside our list. So let's assume you want to add an item at a specific location. Okay, so I want to add a new animal or bird at this position. So you know, this indexing starts with 0, so you can say that this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what if you want to insert a new bird at the second index? So in place of cow I want to have a new bird. So we can write something like list1. So we have a method called insert, list.insert, and to which position you want to insert. I want to insert at position number 2, and what you want to insert is a new animal or bird. So I'll write I want to insert owl in the second position, and then if I write print the list, so you can see that owl has been inserted in the second position or second index. Okay. So let me declare one more string here. I'll say list1 equal to penguin, sparrow and maybe okay. So we know what insert method is will do, right? You need to know the index where you want to insert, and it's going to insert. But what if I want to insert a new item? So I want to insert duck after sparrow. So after sparrow I want duck. So you cannot, but you cannot keep on calculate the index of sparrow and then add, right? So there is something called index. It's going to give the index of an item that you want to find. So I want to insert sparrow duck after sparrow, right? So I need to get the reference of sparrow or the index of sparrow. So when I write lst1 dot index, so it is expecting an item. So if I say sparrow, it's going to provide me with the index of sparrow. So it is in the index 2, so we know that 0, 1 and 2. So I want to insert duck after sparrow, which means I want to insert duck at index number 3, right? So I can write something like lst1 dot insert so you can write index, right? You will get index here, so I can write it plus 1, okay, and I want to insert duck. So instead of counting the indexes and then inserting, you can just get the index using the index method, and then you can insert with reference to it. So this is going to insert duck after sparrow because we have added plus 1. Okay. There's something called list.remove, which is going to remove an element from the list and return it. Okay. So sorry, it's not going to return, it's just going to delete from the list. So when I say lst1, you have these elements, right? When I say lst1 dot remove, I want to remove let's say sparrow from the list, and then if I execute and check the value of list again, you can see that sparrow has been removed. But what if you want to capture whatever was removed, right? So there's something called pop. Okay, so when I say list1 dot pop, so by default if you don't pass any parameter inside pop, it is going to remove the last item in your list and it's going to return it. So I'll say popped equal to list1 dot pop, okay, and then I'll print the popped item. So you can see goose has been removed, and if you check the value of list, it is actually removed. But what if you want to remove something in a specific index? So you can pass this here. So if I want to remove parrot, which is in the index 1, so I can just pass the index, okay, or else you can make use of that index function to get the index of parrot. So if I execute this, parrot is going to be removed from that list and is going to be returned, okay, into this popped variable. If I check the value of list, parrot is actually removed from the list. Now there's something called sort. So what is sorting? So let's say we have a list of numbers, something like 6, 1, 3, 8, 5. If someone asks you to sort the numbers inside the list in ascending order, what will be the result? It will be something like 1 is the smallest, and second smallest is the 3, and then we have 5, 6, and then finally 8. So if you want to perform this operation or sorting, you can make use of list.sort method. So let us declare that list. I'll say 6, 1, 3, 8 and 5. So when I say list1 dot sort, so you can see that the elements inside the list has been sorted in ascending order. But what if you want to sort your list in descending order? So there's an optional parameter called reverse. So when I say reverse equal to true, it's going to sort my list in descending order. So by default, if you don't provide this reverse function, it will be by default equal to false. But then if you want to sort in reverse order, you can say in descending order, you can say reverse equal to true. Okay. And there also there is something called reverse. Okay, so we have a function here, sorry, we have a list here, right? So you know what is sorting in ascending order, right? But what I'm trying to say now is just reverse the order of the list. So reversing is like taking the last element and putting it in the first, last second putting it to the first second. So 5, 8, 3, 1, 6. So this is different from sorting in ascending or descending. This is just reversing the elements inside your list, reversing the order. Okay, so let me declare the list again, and when I say list1 dot reverse, it's going to reverse the entire list. Okay, so this is what the output is. And then if you want to find out the number of items in your list, there's something called length function. Okay, when you have lst, let me declare this. So the number of items in this list is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you want to get the length of this list, you can write lst1 dot length. Sorry, it's not that. You have to write length of lst1. So you'll get the number of items that you have inside your list. So next, let us see the min and max functions. So the min and max functions can be used to find out the minimum or maximum value inside your list. So if we have a list like this, what is the minimum value that we have inside our list? It is 1. So when I say min of lst1, it's going to return 1. And what is the maximum item that we have in our list? It is 8. So when I say max of lst1, it is going to return 8. So let me declare one string here to demonstrate the next function. I'll say A, B, C, A. Okay, we have a list here. So what if you want to find how many times A is repeating in our list? So you just wanted to find the count of A, basically you wanted to find the count of certain item inside your list. You have a function called list.count which accepts a value. It is going to basically find the number of times a particular item appears in your list. So when I say list1.count, so it's going to accept a parameter or a value that you want to search. So when I say A, we know that it's going to return, the number of times it is present in the list is 3, so it's going to return 3. Okay. So there's something called list.clear. What this function is going to do is it's going to clear or remove all the items inside your list, and it's going to return an empty list. Okay, when we check the value, it is like it has removed all the elements from our list. So next, let us see how to check if a certain item exists in the list or not. So let me declare a list here, list1 equal to cat, dog and squirrel. So what if you want to find out whether dog is existing in our list? So you can directly write an if statement on the list and say something like if dog in list 1. So you can directly write an if condition. So we are writing if dog in list 1, we're going to print lst1 has dog. Okay, so if I execute this, it's going to print lst1 has dog because dog is actually inside our list. Okay, next we're going to look at different ways of indexing the Python list. Okay, the indexing of Python starts from 0, that you already know, that we saw strings, right? Just like strings, in list also the indexing starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let me declare a list of numbers. Something like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 and 20. Okay, so we have a list of numbers. So if you want to extract the first item, so what is the first item? It is 2. So you can pass the index. So what is the index of this particular number? It is equal to 0 because index starts with 0. So when you say list2 of 0, it is going to return the first item inside our list, which is nothing but 2. And then if you want to get the last item, okay, just like strings, you can pass -1 here. So ideally you can write length of lst2 -1. So what is length of this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, 10 minus 1, right? So it is 9. So either you can write like this, length of lst2 -1, which is going to return you the last item in the list, or else you can just write lst2 of -1. This will also give the last item in the list. So if you want to get the last second item, what do you think we have to write? We have to write -2, or else length of lst2 -2, or else just list of -2. So next let us look at slicing examples, some of the slicing examples. Slicing is basically helps in fetching specific portion of our list. Okay, this can be achieved by passing the starting and end index. So when I say let me define the list again. So if you want to get the items from 0 to index 0 to index 3, so when I say 2, 4, 6, okay, so 0, 1, 2, so you have to pass 0 is to 3, because just like strings, you'll not get until 3, you'll get one less than the end index. So what I'm trying to say, if you write 0 is to 3, it's going to fetch the items with indexes 0, 1 and 2. It is not going to fetch the item with index 3. Okay, So when you execute this, you'll get the items with index 0, 1 and 2, which is nothing but 2, 4 and 6. There's also one optional argument, like by default this argument is 1. It is basically same, right? 0, let's say, I'll write 0 is to 5 is to 1. So it's going to fetch everything it's going to fetch the items with indexes 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So by default it is equal to 1. So what if you write 2? If you write 2, it's going to skip one element. Okay, so if it fetches 0th item, it is not going to fetch the first index. It's going to next fetch the second index. It's not going to fetch the third index. It's next going to fetch the fourth index, just like that. So if you execute this, you're going to get 2, 6 and 10. Okay, so instead of writing 2, if you write 3, this time it's going to skip 2 items. So it's going to fetch 2 and it's going to skip 4 and 6, and then it's going to fetch 8. So the result will be 2 and 8. Okay, so what if you want to index in a reverse way? Okay, let me declare this again. So when I say list 2 of is to minus 1, it's going to fetch all the elements all in the list in a reverse way. Okay, if you pass some parameters, so let's say I want to fetch from the index 5. Okay, what is index 5? It is 12, right? From index 5 to index 0, I want to fetch in a reverse way. So I'll write 5 is to 0 is to minus 1. So I'll get 12, 10, 8, 6, 4 and 2. Okay, you'll not get the 0th index because you know that it's going to be one less or one greater than the end index. If it is in reverse way, it is one greater than the end index. If it is in the forward way, it is one less than the end index. So what if you want all the elements? You can just skip writing this. So you'll get all the elements in 0th index also in reverse way. And there's a function called reversed, which helps in iterating a list in reverse order. So what I'm trying to say is, if you want to write something like for I in reversed, so this is a function which can be written on the list. So it's going to basically help you in iterating over your list in a reverse way. So I'll say for I in reversed of list 2, print I. So it's going to iterate your list in a reverse way. Okay, let's see some more examples of slicing here. Let me declare the list again so that we can see. So when I say list 2 of is to 5, so I'm just skipping the starting index. So in this case, it is just like writing 0, 1, 2. It's going to pick everything. Starting from everything, it is going to pick until the index 5. Oh no, sorry, one index less than 5. So it's going to pick index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. If I execute this, you'll get 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10. So what if you skip the end index? So when you skip the end index, when I say 5 is to, it's going to start from the 5th index and it's going to fetch all the elements after 5th index. Okay, it's going to start from 12 and fetch all the elements. So it's going to fetch 12, 14, 16, 18 and 20. So next we're going to see how to make a copy of list. Okay, so copying of list is somewhat tricky, so we shall understand this why in step by step. Okay, so let me declare a string here, sorry, a list here. I'll say a equal to 1, 2 and 3. I'll print a, so the value of a is 1, 2 and 3. Okay, and then I'll write something like b equal to a. What do you think will happen here? It's going to copy the contents of, sorry, it's going to make a copy of the list, right? At least that's what it's going to seem like. So if I check the value of b after the copy, after executing statement, you can see that the value of b is also 1, 2 and 3. Okay, now I'll do one thing. If I say a of 0 equal to, I want to replace the first number 1 with 20. Okay, so I want to make the list a, instead of 1, 2, 3, I want to make it as 20, 2 and 3. So I'm just replacing the first item with 20. After executing this, what do you think the value of a will be? It will be 20, 2 and 3, right? Okay, that's what is expected and it's fine. But what do you think the value of b will be? If I execute, ideally, since it is a copy, it should be 1, 2 and 3, right? But if you execute this, you can see the value of b is also changed. So this is happening because, you know, when you write this statement b equal to a, so let me explain this. So you declare a list, right? You say 1, 2 and 3 in a list, and then you have a variable a which is mapping to this list. So this list is residing somewhere in the memory, and when you say a equal to this 1, 2, 3, it's going to create a mapping, right? A variable will be assigned to this list. So this is fine. So but if you write a statement something like b equal to a, it is not going to create another list inside the memory. Something what you're expecting is it's going to create another list b, and then it's going to assign the a b to that list. But that's not what going to happen. When you write something like b equal to a, what is going to happen is it's going to create a new variable b, and it is going to point b to the same list. So that is why if you make any changes to list, it's going to reflect in both a and b as well. Okay, so that's why you're seeing that when you change a, b is also changing. Okay, so what is the proper way of doing this? So there is one proper way. Let me demonstrate that. Let me start over again. I say a is equal to 1, 2 and 3. Okay, and then b is equal to, instead of writing just a, we're going to instantiate it with a list. Okay, I'll say b is equal to list of a. Okay, so when I execute something like this, what happens is I'm going to create another list in the memory. I'm going to force Python to create another list. So initially it was 1, 2 and 3, so a was pointing to it. So instead of just writing b equal to a, this time I'm writing b is equal to list. When I say list, already another list would have been created in the memory. Okay, and then inside this I'm passing a, so whatever the values are there in this list is going to be copied now, 2, 3, and then b will be pointed to the new list. Okay, so when I execute this, it has actually created two lists in the memory, right? So now when I say a of 0 equal to 20 and execute this and check the value of a, it is 22 and 3, and then if I check the value of b, it should be 1, 2 and 3, right? So that was fine. But actually there's one more issue with this kind of with this fix. There's also one more issue, so let me demonstrate that one as well. So let me start over again, and now instead of having numbers, I'm gonna have some list inside my list. I'm gonna have some nested list. Okay, so I'll declare something like, in the list I'll have two lists. Okay, and then in the first list I'll have 1 2 3, and in the second list I have 4 and 5. Fine. So now I'll say print a. So it is basically having a is equal to a list inside that, which we have no, two lists inside of a main list. And now we know that this ideally should work fine. We go ahead and use list of a. It's going to create a new list and then copy the contents of the list, right? And then we check the value of b. So it is also equal to 1 2 3 and 4 5. Now what I do is I'm going to change the first item. I want to change 1, right? I want to change 1 to 20. So how do I access it? You have to write something like this. A of 0 means it will fetch this. So inside this list I want to fetch the 0th item. So it is going to fetch, it's going to index this 1. I'm going to change it to 20, and then if I check the value of a, it is now equal to 22 and 3, and then 4 and 5. But then if I check the value of b, what do you think the value of b will be right now? If I execute this, if you observe, b is also changed, which means that this method is not working if we have a list inside a list, right? So let me try to explain why this thing happened again. So we created a list, right, in the memory, 1 2 3, this is list 1, and then we have 4 and 5. Okay, and then we created a and pointed to this, okay. And now when I say, when we did b is equal to list of, okay, when we say list of this, it has already created a new list of a. When I say this, it copied this list here and this list here. Okay, so ideally what is happening is b is pointing to this list, but b of 0 is still pointing to this particular list. So when we have a list inside a list, it is not going to create another copy of this. It's not going to create, when I say list of, this is only for the outer list, it has created list, but for inner it is doing something like this, a of 0 and a of 1. So it is still referring to the old list. So we have to do something called deep copy, right, to solve this problem. So we're going to solve this problem by using the deep copy. There's a module called copy which will help you with deep copy. So let me define the list again. So this time I will say the same list, a equal to 1 2 3 and then 4 5. So now I'm going to import a module called copy. Okay, and then I'll say b equal to copy dot deep copy of a. So when I do this, even if there are lists inside of your list, it's going to make a copy of those, not just reference the address, right? When I execute this, we have a and b which has same values. Now when I change a of 0 equal to 20 and check the value of a, it is changed to 22 and 3, 4 and 5. Now if I check the value of b, it still remains 1 2 3 4 5. So we can use deep copy to make an actual copy of a list. So next, let us understand how to use loops on our list. So let's create a list. Cat, dog, duck. Okay, so we have created a list. So you can basically write for I in lst1. I'm going to simply print I. So if you want to write a for loop on string on a list, you can directly write for I in lst1 list. You can write and then access the each item in the list. So when I execute this, you will get cat, dog and duck. The second method to loop through the index of a list. So if you want to have index as well along with the item, you can make use of this for loop. So I can write for I in range is going to start with 0 and goes until the length of lst1. In this case, you can get the index of the item as well. Okay, I'll say print index equal to I and value equal to a of I. So in this way you can what happened? List index out of range, not A, sorry, it is lst1, right? So you'll get both index and you can access both index as well as the value inside the list. Okay, so now let me define the string list again. Okay, what if you want to join all these items together, okay, as a single string? If you want to join all the items in a list into a single string, there is a built-in function for on top of string which you can do that. So when I say dot join you can pass the list here. So it's going to join all the elements with a space. So when I execute this, you can see that it's a single string cat, dog and cow. So this is basically the delimiter you want to have in between each of the items. You can either have no space at all, or you can have a comma or any other delimiter that you want to have. So it's basically going to join each and every item inside a list and create a single string. So next let us see how to convert a list of lists into a flat list. So what I'm trying to say is, if you have a list something like this, 1 2 3 and then you have 4 5. okay, this is basically a list of lists. So what is a flat list? Flat list is just removing all the inner list and creating something like 1 2 3 4 and 5. So this is the list of lists and this is the flat list. So you have a module to convert this list of lists into a flat list. So we'll see how to do that now. I'll say list of list equal to, I'll say 1 2 3 and then I'll have 4 5 6 and then I have 7 and then another list 8 and 9. Okay, so we have a list of list. So there's a module called import itertools, with which you can convert the list of list into a flat list. So I'll say flat list equal to list of itertools dot chain, and then you have to write star and list of list. Okay, and then if you check the value of flat list, it is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 8. So next let us see if a list is having duplicate elements. Okay, so let's print all the items which are repeating, right? So when I fine, let me define a string list here with some duplicate elements. So 1 2 3 4 5 comma 5 6 comma 6 comma 6 comma 7. Okay, so let me try to print all the elements which are what is the count of each of the elements, right? So using list comprehension I'll do that. So list2 equal to I for I in LST if list dot count. So I'm just trying to find out all the items which are repeating, or in other words, if their count is greater than 1 in the list. Okay, so when I say list2, it's going to say that 5 5 6 6 6. So 5 and 6 are repeating. That's why you're in this list you are having a list of all the numbers which are repeating. So now if you want to get the unique item from our list, you can make use of set. Okay, the set is something that we are going to discuss later on in the upcoming videos. But for now, set is something that takes unique values. Okay, so let me define the list again. So when you say unique, so okay, we'll make use of set to get unique numbers from the list. So I'll say unique equal to set of. So again, we'll discuss more about sets in the upcoming videos. When you say set of list2, it's going to extract only the unique items from that list. So when you say unique, you say from list, right? So when you say unique, it's going to get all the unique items from the list. Okay, so but this is a set, right? If you want to convert it back to list, you can simply write again list of set of list. So it's going to give back the result in the form of list. So next let us see how to shift or rotate our list. So let me try to explain first. So if I have a list of numbers, something like 1 2 3, okay, if I want to shift it, okay, shift or rotate once. So if you want to shift it left side, so it's going to become like 2 and 3 is going to come this place, and then 1 will come over here. So if you rotate it once, it's going to become 2 3 1. So now if you rotate it in opposite direction, what happens? So 1 2 3, if you rotate it in opposite direction, it's going to like 1 2, and then this 3 is going to come over here, so it will be 3 1 2. So if you rotate in one direction, it's going to be 2 3 1, and if you rotate in the opposite direction, it's going to be 3 1 2, right? So you can make use of a module called dq which has a method called rotate to be able to do this operation. So let me define a list here, lst2 equal to 1, 2 and 3. So from collections I'm going to import a module called dq. So I'm going to convert this list into a dq type, because this dq has a built-in function called rotate. List doesn't have, but dq has. That's why we are converting that list type into dq. So when I say 1, it's going to rotate by once, and if you check the value here, it's going to be 312, right? So if I rotate it in the opposite direction, so you can basically give 1, or if you want to rotate it more than once, you can give -2 as well. So now you can see that 231. So 312 and 231 are the values. Okay, so this is how you rotate your list.